What's there? And the best answer our scientists can give us is there are infinite possibilities. That the discontinuity is the immeasurable potential for all that was, all that is, all that will be. Sounds pretty mysterious. The second thing that they say when they talk about the discontinuities, that it's a field of non-local correlation, which means everything is instantly correlated with everything else in the whole universe. And it's faster than the speed of time. It's an instant harmonization of everything, all the activity in the entire universe. Non-local correlation, or they also call it entanglement, or quantum entanglement, or superposition of possibilities. The interview I did with Dr. Stuart Hameroff has all this information, by the way. So that's the second thing. If you weren't a mathematician, you'd say omnipresence, omniscience, omnipotence, everything happening all at once and everything correlated with everything else. Second attribute of the discontinuity. The third attribute of the discontinuity is it's a field of uncertainty. You cannot compute. There's no algorithm for it. And it proliferates with uncertainty. It was first described as the uncertainty principle by Heisenberg, who presented at a meeting in Copenhagen. And Einstein was sitting in the first row, and Einstein was already famous, had won the Nobel Prize. And Heisenberg was 23 when he presented the uncertainty principle. And Einstein more or less chided him, scolded him. He said, God doesn't play dice with the universe. The laws of nature are certain. Otherwise, there wouldn't be science. And of course, Stephen Hawking recently made a statement where he said, not only does God play dice with the universe, God throws the dice where you will not find it. That there's a level of nature that is beyond our comprehension because it's so created that it bewilders our minds. The nature precludes us from understanding nature at the most fundamental levels. That's the third attribute. The fourth attribute is a form of creativity which is increasingly being called quantum creativity. Quantum creativity because there is emergence of new forms and phenomena that is not predicated on an algorithm. It's just something that comes out that is totally unpredictable. And many evolutionary biologists are suggesting that evolution is punctuated by this kind of creativity. And the fifth attribute, which is the most astonishing of all, has been called the observer effect, which was first suggested by a great scientist called John Wheeler, who just died at the age of 97 last year, one of the great giants of the last century. And John Wheeler was the first one to suggest that the physical universe would not exist unless there were conscious beings looking at it. So unless there were sentient beings looking at the universe, it would remain a vibration. The vibration comes alive in your own consciousness as color, as sound, as form, as texture, as taste. We call it the universe, but it's a vibration that is computed in our consciousness as the physical world. These are astonishing insights, and at the first time you hear about them, you say, what the heck are people talking about? But there are great traditions in the world, wisdom traditions, right from the time of Pythagoras and Plato, and of course in the East, Confucius and Lao Tzu and Buddha, that have actually said that what exists in the space between our thoughts and what exists in the space between every vibration is an intelligent consciousness. Call it what you will. The mystery, God, divinity, soul, spirit. Perhaps our individual soul is part of that. Again, Rumi, in one of his poems, he says, you're not just a drop in the ocean, you're the mighty ocean in the drop. That when you get in touch with this part of your being, then you actually have an intuitive knowingness, a deeper knowing of the spiritual essence that creates both mind and matter. That mind is a subjective experience of our consciousness, and our body is the objective experience of our consciousness. And if this is true, then of course there are new avenues to explore. We are exploring outer space, but now it's time to explore inner space, which is as unbounded in the atom as it is unbounded in the far reaches of infinity. So before I go any further, I'd like to try something with you right now. As you're listening to me, just turn your attention to who's listening. Now wait. As you're listening to me, turn your attention to who's listening. And if you feel some presence there, that's your soul. It's not your mind which might be saying, I wish I'd gone to the bathroom before the lecture. Your mind is a conversation. It's a thought that comes from there, that deep awareness, and then it disappears into that deep awareness. And the greatest wisdom traditions have said, hold on to that, because that's you. That's you. That's everything else changes. Your mind will change, your body will change, your thoughts will change, your personality will change, your ego will change, the world will change. But that essence that you are, the observer in the midst of the observation, that's the background of non-change in the midst of all the change. What some of our scientists are suggesting is that's the discontinuity. That's the field of infinite correlation, the deeper knowing. That's the field of infinite possibilities. That's the field of creativity. That's the field of intentionality, that it's an intention field. That's the field of what we call observer effect. That's the source of our insight, of our intuition, of our imagination, of our creativity, of our choices. And so that's who we really